Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you a very cool checkmate in 4 that's surprisingly harder to solve than it may look. So currently it's white to move. Notice that this black king is pretty much stalemated. Well, it is stalemated. And this pawn is going down the board, which means if it were black to move in this position, it would be stalemate. So it's white to move and mate in 4. So give it a second, think about this solution for a moment. You might think, okay, just move the knight out of the way, bring a rook in, and checkmate. Sure, but can you do it in 4 moves? That's the trick. That's the challenge. So I'll give you a second to think about that. While you're thinking about it, I'll ask you to subscribe if you have not yet already. Half of the income I earn in this channel goes directly to charity. So every like, every subscriber, every member, half of that goes to charity. All right, so let's get started here. So, like I said, the natural impulse is just move the piece, and then they have to push this pawn, right? It's their only move. And I want to get this rook up and in. So what I can do is I can just prepare that. So they just moved here. I'll just go here. And then the problem is they check me. This is already the second move, right? This is black's second move. I have to pick a place to go with the king. If I go to c1, it's stalemate. If I go to d2, I'm allowing them to promote with check. Don't want that. If I go to e2, hey, guess what? I'm allowing them to promote with check again. Well, I don't want that either. So I kind of run into an issue because I'm trying to get checkmate in 4 moves. And with this method, even the best defense is going here. This is black's 3rd move. I'd have to move. This is my 4th move. And now you can just, put your knight anywhere. This would be mate in 5. I want checkmate in 4. So how can I get more efficient than that? Well, that's kind of the puzzle, right? That's the challenge. So you may have wondered, you can move the knight, it feels like, to a bunch of places, right? Look at all these different possibilities. Obviously, you can't move here because the king's there. All these different places. Only one of them is correct. Well, that's the puzzle. So I just showed this one, right, d5. Let's just say I go to a4, just as an example. How does this change anything? It doesn't. They can go forward. I have to move my king out of the way or bring my rook in. Either way, I'm going for the same goal. Let's say I switch the order and I do this first. Doesn't matter. I can't stop this pawn. Remember, if I can't take this pawn because it would be stalemate. So same exact thing. They would go, promote to a knight. Again, I can't take it. I have to just move maybe a way that they can't check me again. And again, this is mate in 5. They pick your favorite place to move the knight. Doesn't matter. How can I force it to 4? I'm going to share the answer now, so if you'd like to think about it some more, now is your last chance. There's only one way to do it. The way is to bring the knight to b1. So why is this the fastest way? It's kind of a cool, instructive puzzle. Black only has one response still, c3. And now, again, you have a choice, king first or rook first. In this, you do king first, and you'll see why. They play, again, c2. Now, in all these other variations, they push forward and promote to a knight. Here's the catch. This is the key. The move is rook c1. Now, they can't push and promote with check. Instead, they have to take and promote, and you can checkmate in exactly 4 moves. Isn't that cool? So let's go back just to make sure it all makes sense. You have to checkmate in 4 moves. That's the challenge. That's the objective. Not just win the game, checkmate in 4. The only knight move that satisfies that is knight b1. All of these other knight moves, all these other knight moves do not work because bringing the knight to b1 allows you to sneak the rook behind, I guess in front of the pawn, so that you can get to the back rank with mate. Isn't that amazing? Again, because the critical detail is if that rook wasn't there, let's just say, for example, I move the knight to a different square. Pick any other square. If that knight's not there and that rook is not here, they push, I move, they push, I move, and now you can promote to a knight. But having this rook here in the other variation means they have to capture with anything. Really, they can, I was going to say with a queen, but they can capture with a queen, a rook, a bishop, anything. And you bring that rook all the way back for mate. Isn't that amazing? Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's kind of a funny little puzzle. But yeah, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know. And see you next time. Thanks. Bye.